planned GST hike from 7 to 9%. What is it going to look like if it is going to be implemented in a phased manner?
Yeah, so we think they're going to break it up into 2 installments of 1% each in early 2023 and 2024 to kind of ease the burden a little bit. But I think the messaging from policymakers, be it the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, is that this really can come quite soon because ultimately they really want to get this done with. And they've made it very clear that it's really not going to have an impact on most Singaporeans because there's going to be significant offsetting measures for at least 5 years. So it's something that you just want to get it in the kind of in motion without necessarily kind of getting the full revenue hit right away.
All right, Joseph, so to be clear here, what we're talking about is a phased escalation of the goods and services tax. 7 now, so it's going to go up 1 percentage point to 8. Next year, 2023, then up another 1 percentage point to 9%. Finally, that's the cap, at least for now, the year after 2024. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And I think the idea here is that the Singapore economy really is in a very good position. Remember, this is probably the only economy last year, both in Asia and around the world, where we didn't revise down growth expectations. If anything, it's outperformed already very high expectations, and that growth is continuing. So the economy can take it. The labor market is strong. So if there was ever a time, really now is the time to move forward with this.
So, the broader story is, look, they've spent, like many other governments, a huge chunk of change, right, including digging into reserves, which is sort of unprecedented to fight the coronavirus the last 2-3 years or so. Now they need to consolidate fiscally, I guess is the technical term, but basically they need to make the money back, right? Hiking the GST is one way, although that conversation started even before COVID. What else are they likely to have to do to raise revenue?
Yeah, so if you think about what they're basically doing is they're reversing all these short-term measures, the job support schemes, everything needed to get the economy out of the pandemic. The goods and services tax hike, that's really to fund the long-term structural priorities for Singapore, right? Basically funding aging healthcare needs. There's going to be a surge in needs on healthcare spending in the next few years, the next few decades in Singapore, as well as long-run infrastructure growth. So that's really what GST is made for. There's going to be a lot of other smaller measures, for example, carbon tax, some perhaps thinking of areas where they can increase taxes that are designated towards wealth. Some people have talked about capital gains, for example, but we don't really expect there to be significant move on those fronts. The most of the contraction in the budget position is actually going to be done by a curtailment of expenditure. So really reversing all these short-term measures that were in place over the last 2 years.